So this is the first installment of Festival Focus, where I'm going to be interviewing artists both in town and via Skype for the 2011 Austin Chamber Music Festival, which will run July 8th through 23rd. I'm Michelle Schumann. I'm here with Alan and Nick from the Aeolus String Quartet. And I have to tell you guys that, not you guys, but you guys, that this quartet has just been on a rampage lately. They've been doing competitions and winning them left, right, and center. The Plowman competition, Yellow Springs, and silver medal at the Coleman competition. And I have to say, I'm sure you guys do too, but I have kind of mixed feelings about competitions in general, because it just seems like totally not conducive to the whole real artistic process. And yet, like, I'm the first person to be like, oh yeah, they won this quartet competition and this quartet competition. And I think that there's something really important about doing them and kind of getting out there. And I just wanted to get your take on, you know, what it's like to prepare for these major competitions and then actually doing them, and the benefit that you kind of feel that you get out of them in the end, other than the big cash prize.
That's nice. But
yeah, money. It's really, no. It's quite a process. I think you have to prepare for them very far in advance. I remember reading a book by Arnold Steinhardt, who's the first violinist of Guarneri Quartet, and he was talking about solo competitions, but I think it applies for chamber music competitions too. And he said that preparing for these competitions is like planning a military strategy or something. Like, really, we start the rep, we'll start talking about rep like a year out or longer, and then just...
And do you think about the rep in terms of the competition, or
right. We definitely have to take that into consideration. And there's, so many masterpieces that we feel are kind of off limits even for competitions, just because they're, for example, Beethoven quartets, most of the time we kind of steer away from, because people are so outrageously opinionated on them that chances are good that 50% of your jury is going to hate whatever you do with it, even if it's, perfect.
Right.
Yeah. We like to perform them in concerts, but unless there's some competitions that require them, and then you're kind of stuck. And which is fine, because then at least everyone has to play it, and you get to play this fantastic music. But for the most part, we definitely try to pick pieces that make a very big immediate impact to a listener, even if they might not have heard it before, and kind of show off different aspects of the quartet, and pieces that hopefully we can play well.
Things that kind of highlight our strengths as a group, hopefully.
Well, and that's the thing, when quartets get together, I mean, you're getting together mostly because you're all really good players, but a quartet is not about individual good players. It's about, like, kind of creating this machine that you call the string quartet, like this sort of amorphous, moving body. And so, like, how in preparing, I imagine in preparing for a competition, or like preparing for concerts in general, that's one of the the main things that you're really focusing on too, is this idea of ensemble and creating something special as a group, which is different from creating something special as an individual, right? Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, well, it's definitely true. There's some kind of mysterious thing that goes on when four people play together, and it's like the sum is greater than the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. And I think that's something that's achieved after a lot of playing together. You kind of get to know one another's playing, and it's almost, hopefully you end up being able to know what they're going to do before they do it, or as they're doing it, which is a really special type of music making, I think, when you kind of like are playing to help one another and playing to support one another's sounds. And the really tricky thing, I think, for us and for anyone who's doing competitions is learning how to achieve that while on the competition stage, because the tendency is to, and also in rehearsal, the tendency is just to, like, we have to get in tune and together and sound perfect, but like that ends up just, if you just play like you're scared of not being together or in tune, then you end up sounding boring and scared.
It's a lot like the recording process,
right?
Gosh, where you just once you get into the middle of that, and you just get so in tune with, like, everything having to be perfect.
It's paralyzing.
It is paralyzing. It's musically paralyzing, right? Because how are you supposed to be special moments happen when we're in front of audiences, right? And so how can you create that? And I know in some of the competitions that I've done as a pianist, I haven't done any chamber music competitions, but as a pianist, the only way I do well in competition is if I just forget that it's a competition, and that if I play for the audience and play for it, that it's a real concert. And I think that that's kind of key to those things too.
I think that's exactly right, and I think a lot of our success this year has actually been for that reason. This music that we were competing with, we'd been performing all year, and we'd really been trying to kind of make it second nature, the performance aspect of it second nature, so that when you get on stage in a competition, you're not paralyzed by the fact that it's a competition. Right. So that was definitely a premeditated plan for us, and
for sure.
I think this is definitely the most comfortable we've ever felt in competition. Has been this year, so and it worked out. So
that's great. And now you've covered a lot of rep in a short period of time, and I think you're going to be learning some new rep now. And I wanted to, and I know that you guys are doing the Dvorak American Quartet, which I'm really thrilled about. Will this be a new piece for you guys?
For the quartet, yes.
For the quartet as well, probably individuals have played different, right?
Bits and pieces.
What I'm really excited about you guys doing this, because as you know, the Tokyo String Quartet is also playing it on the last festival concert on the 23rd, and you guys are playing it early on at one of the outreach concerts, and then you'll be playing it near the end of the festival for the Tokyo String Quartet in masterclass. So I'm just thrilled for audiences to kind of see the progression of your performance, which undoubtedly will be a really marvelous performance, and then to see you guys work together with a quartet like the Tokyo Quartet, which is like one of the greats, and certainly one of the greats living in our time, one of the top 5, probably, I'd say, if not higher. And now they have probably lived with work like that for 15, 20 years. We can ask them. We'll ask them via Skype when we call. But tell me about approaching a piece of music like that is like such a war horse, and yet it's just so great. Like it's one of the greatest pieces. I love it because it has all those elements of Dvorak, but then it has all those American kind of elements of the maverick kind of spirit. And so tell me about approaching a piece like that, and then knowing that you're going to be able to play it for a group that has played it for years and years and has so much to bring to that experience.